Hi, so in the third part of this lesson, we're going to practice assessing a peer's project. Now to review previously, we began by joining a group, and in the last lesson, we learned how to access the peer assessment tool, as well as you should have practiced loading a document and submitting your assessment for peer evaluation. So in this portion of the course, our goal is to access your peer's submission and to complete an evaluation. So from the course homepage within OurCampus, and again here's the OurCampus hyperlink, we will be selecting assigned matrices again. And instead of selecting the top quadrant, this time within the matrices window, we will be selecting the middle quadrant. And this time you will select a matrix evaluations facilitated by others. Next, you will select by program, and next you will select your assigned peers, and remember you will be reviewing two of your peers' work, and in this case a new window will appear. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So I've logged in as myself. I select assigned matrices, and this time I'm not submitting anything. I'm actually going to conduct an assessment of one of my peers. So I'm selecting the middle quadrant, which is the matrix evaluations facilitated by others, and now I'm going to select by program. Now when I select by program, you will see that currently there are 3 individuals that are listed in here, and something to keep in mind is all of your classmates' names will appear in this window. So when they appear, this is why you need to be aware of who you are evaluating. So if they have not currently submitted anything, their name will not appear. So you are only to evaluate those that you are assigned to. You're free to evaluate more than those 2 individuals. However, the course assignment is to focus on your assigned individuals within the Google spreadsheet, which again I will review, there was the hyperlink, and you are grouped by code. So such as Allie, Elizabeth, and Michelle are group 1, Betsy, Rebecca, and Jennifer are group 2, so on and so forth, and etc. But now I'm going to select Betsy because I went ahead and logged on as Betsy, and I submitted a document for her. And just to review this screen really quick, one, you can see if somebody started something but didn't submit anything. And the last assignment was to upload an artifact and submit, and now you can see that there is one submission for Betsy and another one for Elizabeth, and one that has been accepted and one that has been completed. So in this case, I'm going to select Betsy Eckel because she's in my group. Now when I select Betsy, notice that the screen looks identical to when you submitted. However, now you have access to a rubric as well as to any submissions. Now you can access them either from these hyperlinks, or what I suggest is to open the cell, which a new window will appear. And again, here are instructions that you can review the activity. Here's the actual assessment that we will be scoring, but before you score, if there is an artifact or document, you should download and review that artifact first. Now remember, there's not a requirement to upload an artifact for any particular presentation, but if there is, you should always review the content before actually viewing any physical presentation. Next, we will select Score It. This will actually take you to the rubric, and now you'll see that another window has appeared, and I'm going to enlarge this. And something to note, if you're using Firefox and or Chrome, you also have the capability of expanding some of these windows. And currently, to my knowledge, it only works within those 2 browsers. Now the process by which of completing this evaluation is extraordinarily simple. Now, one, remember, is that you're going to be graded on your ability to accurately critique your peers. So don't be afraid if it seems critical, because the purpose of this is to give constructive feedback. So when I'm looking within each level, such as targeted understandings, if I feel that you're a level 2, level 1, I can simply go through and I select each level, and you must complete each one of these levels. In addition, you should be providing at least some quick feedback within each section. I thought you did a good job, however, I was not clear on what you referenced, so on, and then complete that for each particular section. And in addition, provide some overall feedback, such as anything that you thought an individual excelled in, as well as anything that you think the individual may need to put a little more emphasis on. When you are done, make sure you select Save Score. So in this case, you can see that you actually do get a percentage, and this is a reminder, this is not your grade. This is only a peer assessment. And you can close this window, and as soon as you have closed that window, the next thing I want you to do, and the last step, is to accept submission. So by accepting and completing it, you will now see that the individual will now acknowledge that the color code is green. Now, this is a limitation of the tool, since there will be more than one individual that will be evaluating each particular peer. If you notice that somebody in your group, their color has already changed to green, that's okay. Your particular peer assessment will appear differently, but you will also use the same methodology. Now, if we go back to assigned matrices again, and if I go back to by program, we can now see that Betsy is in the accepted column. Now, Betsy can go through and evaluate and look at the comments that were provided to her by simply going back into where she submitted her items. But currently you can see I have nothing in here, but if I were to open the cell, I would then be able to access and view each particular content.